All dreams considered. All dreams considered. All dreams considered.
Welcome to All Dreams Considered with Sarah. Today I am speaking with Zack Willken.
Hello, hello.
Hello. And Zack, you have a dream that I would love to hear more about. Could you share a bit about the dream that you've been envisioning with us?
I've had this idea for many years, and it's kind of collectively come together between friends and other co-workers and just a male support group that I've always wanted to create as well as be part of, as always, kind of needed. It's more of a male identifying group of support, and that means guys, men, transgender, females, however you want to identify, you're welcome to come, welcome to be part of it. It's not just for men, but it's more of a male lead of guidance, of understanding where men stand today and supporting of being an ally as well as being supportive of female, because we are all in this together as well as we work great as a team. So try not to divide everything and be more helpful to each other. And I feel like a lot of males are misunderstood, and that's a very broad term, just don't know how to express themselves. And I think with more support and reflecting on past and experience from different ages, generations, can really help everybody. And that's what I'd like to do, is to get more men to be understanding of themselves, their emotions, their anger, their feelings, their love for people, to accept themselves and be more understanding as well as more comfortable in this world.
Yeah, when I grew up, I know that a lot of people would actively discourage boys, and sometimes girls too, from expressing emotions or even having true feelings. I felt like we were being raised to be these automatons, or these, basically Vulcans, even though we're not Vulcans. And emotions are what makes being human, part of what makes being human wonderful and awful, because, two sides of the same coin. But I'd love to hear more about, what was your experience that, brought you to this point. You mentioned earlier that you have a group of guys.
Yeah, and we literally call it just the guys. It's a it's a text feed, and this is something that I've always kind of wanted, and just kind of created itself between a coworker of mine, a past coworker, one of our regulars at the cafe, and just a few other friends that I've just kind of added in. And it's literally just a text feed between multiple generations of guys either cracking jokes or sharing music or talking about life experience. One of the older gentlemen, he's in his late 60s and maybe in his 70s now, with stage 4 cancer. And then also one of our guys in there is 22 and just graduated college. And it's entertaining as well as a lot of experience. Let's see, just group of guys talking about life, and it's been really inspiring just to watch it start as just talking to each other, and then actually diving into things of life. I'm just about to turn 40, and we have other guys in there that are in their early 30s, and kind of get to share that multi-generational experience. I'm part of Generation X. We have millennials and baby boomers. We all have different views of the world and experiences that we've gone through to share, and it's been really fun, as well as it's been awesome to be part of, let it grow, and I just want to keep that going. And I think having more of that and more of a collection in a consistent group, weekly or something, is my goal. to have these things, that anybody can come in, and just wanting more men to come in to talk about things and open up to find themselves. And I want to include that in, meditation and yoga. And I'm even talking about yoga that's incredibly basic, because many men don't do yoga. And like I say, my father is one of them, and he has a lot of body issues, and I keep telling him to stretch, and just basic stretches. So if you've never done yoga and you're too nervous or cautious of going to a yoga class and being surrounded by females that you may feel uncomfortable around, or you don't feel part of, excluded, like that's another part of my idea, is to let men take care of their bodies and their minds in their own, in a comfortable sitting.
Yeah. So it sounds like the dream is, I know that you're based in Southwest Portland, and the dream is around helping, if I could summarize, just helping men to be comfortable in their own skin, or masculine, help us to feel comfortable expressing our masculine side. Because as we talked about earlier, some women, they're also saying, hey, I have a masculine side, and I'm not just a female. I have, we all have many dimensions inside ourselves.
Yeah, I think there's, how many people are in the world? 7 billion plus or something? No, I don't know where we're at now. It's
8, I think.
Yeah, 8, that's not surprising. And you're going to define all those exactly like black and white of they are male and they are female. Like, that's just hilarious. It's trying to narrow down, there's only 7 colors in the rainbow. Like, there's billions of colors, and like everybody's their own thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. Let people be themselves, and if they're more comfortable to accept that, let's get there. And that makes them happier. They're at least they're comfortable in their skin. They can be more open to loving and growing from there. That's my goal, is to get more people, or help more people find themselves and find community that they either have been searching for or just have never had. Because when this started happening in my life, I couldn't believe I was part of a men's group in my 18 and 19-year-old self. But it was a little bit more basis around Christian religion, and I'm not a supporter of that.
It's not how you identify?
No. But it's not that I have anything against it, it's just not for me. If people want to believe it, that's totally fine. So it was more centered around that. But I was inspired by that group to have something that's open and a little bit more less judgmental of how people live their lives.
Here's a word from our sponsor at Inner Oasis.
Welcome to Inner Oasis Mind, Body, Spirit. We're in the heart of historic downtown McMinnville, and we offer you inspiration, tools, and gifts for the soul.
So if there are many masculine folk listening to this, where and when do you imagine having this?
I would love to eventually have like a yoga studio setting, or an open studio that yoga will be part of it. I am working on and setting up, going and getting my yoga certification, but there's a whole lot going on in my life right now that it is on the back burner, but that's one of the things I want to add into that. But I plan to just start with in a park on Sunday afternoons or evenings, to just get together. We sit outside, breathe the natural air, be surrounded by trees and bushes and flowers, and just sit down and ground ourselves to the earth that we all love and cherish and we need to be with, and just open up. And I'll lead that with different conversations and see how it develops. I know it's not anything with a perfect syllabus or anything, but that's part of why I like it, is because I don't want it to have a specific goal. I want it to develop into reaching out to each other and bringing things up that they may have issues with and questions, and I support everybody coming. Not that I support them, but Republicans and I bring it on, Proud Boys. Come on down. I would love to have a conversation with you, because I feel like you have misunderstood a lot of things and a lot of goals in this world. But I want anybody that's interested to come down and voice their opinion, voice their questions and what they've learned, to share with other people. And that's what it is. It'd be just a masculine sharing circle without drums.
Without drums?
Maybe drums will be later on, but yeah. No chanting or praying or holding hands or anything like that. It's getting together and working shit out together,
Yeah, being in it together. It sounds very organic. Like, if I could rephrase what I heard, it's the vision is, let it take whatever form it wants. All you need to do is create the space, and the right things will come from it.
Yeah, and like I said, no set syllabus. I just have a number of questions. I'll bring up some points, and I just want people to speak up. And I expect many people will be too shy too, and that's what I've experienced in past. Is a lot of guys are too shy to talk about this, and that's what I'm trying to avoid.
Feelings and emotions. All the things that we go through.
Concerns, questions. Many people are confused and don't know how to accept trans people, because that's not what they were raised around. And I can agree to that in the sense that I grew up in a very small town, and it wasn't open like that. It was very closed-minded, and part of the reasons I want this is to end that ignorance and to open up. And if you have questions, you may not have the sources to ask those questions to. So ask an ally, ask somebody that's been around that can help translate that to you, so you don't feel stupid or socially inept because you've never been exposed to this stuff. There's nothing wrong with it. We all have room to grow, and nobody's perfect. Let's just figure stuff out together and just open up.
And so if anyone wants to get a hold of you, they would contact you through Instagram, correct?
That's one of the best ways, yeah.
So, and it's at ZDubTreewalker, all one word.
Yeah, ZDubTreewalker. That's one of my nicknames, yeah.
Great. One of the things that we spoke about earlier also was you understand what it's like to be in an abusive relationship from, well, why don't you just elaborate on that? Because there's many ways that this can come about.
I was in an abusive physical and emotional relationship for a couple of years. I still kind of pat myself on the back for not retaliating, because I do admit I have an anger temper. It's gotten a lot better over the years in expressing my emotions, as well as talking to people in therapy, that I was fortunate to not retaliate on her and hurt her back, but I was consistently slapped, bitten, punched, all sorts of things for a good year and a half of that 3-year relationship.
Were you able to find anyone to talk to about this, or did you just deal with it in silence?
I pretty much dealt with it in silence. I did inform my best friend some of the things that had been going on, but I didn't share the details with her. And it just kind of came to a point where I felt scared, not only for myself, but I felt scared for her, because she would threaten suicide and hurting herself if I left, and it was really tough to deal with, because I wanted to escape, try to get away. I tried a few times, but I just kept going back to be there for her, because I knew things would get bad if I wasn't there. But why bury myself in that when, it's her that's creating that. And it came to a point where she had attacked me so bad that the police were called, and she was arrested and put in jail because she admitted that she had attacked me. And that was obviously the final straw, but also the perfect escape way to get out and get away from her. And it was rough, but I was very fortunate to let it finally come to an end, and not where I was seriously injured. But that led to better things.
Yeah.
Much better things. So
Didn't you mention that in some ways that led to the best things ever happening to
exactly.
you? Do you want to elaborate on that at all? Or is that
well,
another conversation?
No, it's all good. Yeah, that led to much greater things, and I was a little depressed, but I was also, once it ended, I was incredibly happy. I was free, but I felt like I had to find myself again. I felt like I'd been in this fog, this nightmare for 3 years, and I was finally away from it. And I just let myself kind of go, in the sense of I didn't have any plans. I had just enough money to kind of live on my own for a number of months. I visited family, visited friends, and I just kind of took the year off of serious life, and just became free and moved down near where I grew up and spent time there, which then led to meeting my now wife and partner, and we got married in 2019. And we are expecting a child in about 3 months.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a lot. No wonder you've got so much going on. Oh yeah, that yoga is a plan, but I got other stuff going on right now.
Yeah, just a few things, but I like being busy, and lots going on. But yeah, planning for the kid is kind of taking a priority right now, but I am excited. And years ago, I couldn't even imagine being married, let alone having a kid. And part of that stems from another and similar traumatic relationship, but not physically abusive. I was with the gal that she had told me that she was pregnant, and we'd been together for a while. So, silly me, I assumed that it was mine. I found out later that after she had chosen to have an abortion, which I supported her choice, that it was not mine. And I suddenly had this void that I didn't expect, that I thought I was going to be a father, and then it wasn't there. In many ways I was relieved, but also I was shocked by the void I had in my heart. And I ended up rescuing a dog at a nearby shelter in Central Oregon, and he absolutely changed my life. He in many ways saved my life. After that relationship, I was depressive, I was suicidal, and found him, and he just turned me around. He gave me something to live for in many ways, as well as take care of them, because they need our love too. And he just took care of me in the most amazing ways, and was my partner, and road trip and hikes and just being by the river, and that really helped lead me to find more of myself and open up to how I felt emotionally, and angry, but accepting it and growing from it, which again led me to finding the most amazing things that I didn't expect in life. And a lot of bad things happen to people, but there's usually a silver lining. Things then get better if you don't give up. I mean, if I would have given up after that relationship, because in my mind I wanted to, but 12 years later, I have the most amazing partner, and I could not be more fortunate. And she's just an amazing person, and just supports me in so many ways. And I couldn't ask for a better partner. And so I had to go through stuff to get to her. And same with her. We talk about it, how the things that we had to go through relationship-wise, through life, work, college, what it took to find each other. But we couldn't have imagined at a different time in our life. We came together right when we both needed it and wanted it. And I don't know, I can't believe that I found her, and she's with me after all this stuff, and we're married and have a kid on the way, and we own a condo together, and it's just like, how did this work? What did I do to deserve this? But I had to go through some shit.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting to me is you mentioned you found each other at the perfect time. So if you had met her 12 years ago,
she probably wouldn't have dated me. We even joke about that. She's like, yeah, he probably wouldn't have wanted to date me either. And like, who knows what if we knew each other in high school? We maybe have been friends, but like, yeah, most likely we wouldn't have been into each other. I met her when I was about, I was 35. I'm almost 40, and I just lucked out. And I think she says the same thing. Patience. It was a lot about patience and adapting to what life throws at you, and again, just don't give up. Just keep going. Like, a lot of stuff sucks in life, but there are so many good things that you want to keep going on. And did not expect her and that. Yeah. And my dog Scout that I rescued, he definitely doesn't have thumbs, but he gave the thumbs up for her. Paws up or tails up, whatever. Yeah, when he got to know her, he was all about her and just loved her, and it's like, all right, cool. Like, I like her a lot too, and you've given full approval, and that was definitely saying something to me. It was pretty much, yeah, he kind of handed me off to her, of that he was looking out for me, and now she looks out for me now, and it was a very peaceful transition, but she understood how much he meant to me and how much I meant to him.
Yeah.
And she always felt she always felt that she was more worried of Scout's approval than my mom's approval. And that's not a joke. That was real. My mom loves her, and of course she was going to get along with her, but if it didn't go well with Scout, it probably wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Our pets know us. I've heard that losing a pet, I actually have a friend who's, she goes to people's houses and she euthanizes pets that are ready.
Yeah.
And she said that losing a pet is, for a lot of people, even more painful than losing a close family member.
Yeah.
Because the pets are typically with you almost all day.
Yeah.
Every day. They see you through all these relationships. Mm-hmm. They can be the bridge between them, as you mentioned.
Yeah. I grew up with dogs, and I liked them. They were great dogs, great pets, but it was just nothing like having Scout. He was something different. He was very special, and I was very fortunate to find him. But yeah, it's amazing what little relationships we can get out of other small creatures or cats or animals of all sorts, and plants. Everyone says I'm a cat mom or I'm a cat dad, and now it's like the plant daddies and plant moms. It means the same thing, and the growing them, raising them, words of encouragement have been proven to help the plant grow and get bigger and more fruitful if you love and care for them. It's universal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think bringing it back to your goal, with your dream, creating a space where more humans can embrace these sides of them, the caring, nurturing side. Mm-hmm. I actually had a dream in which I learned that human men are considered to be the most loving creatures in the entire universe. It's like I was at some convention and they were handing out awards or something. It wasn't the human women, it was the human men.
Well, that right that's why you have the dream, that's my goal. I hope to make that happen. No, that would be amazing.
That was one of the reasons I was intrigued by your story, and I said, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, that would be really neat. I would like that. And I think, community just needs to be embraced again, and not neighborhoods. We're all humans. We're all humans, and I don't understand why we can't get along. We're all in the same fight. We're on the same spinning little spaceship through this universe. Like, as of now, we have no way to get off this rock. So let's just embrace the moment and embrace the chaos and just work together. There's nothing that can't be solved through just a simple discussion. I've believed that for many years. Like, not that I want to engage, but like what I said about Proud Boys and extreme Republicans,
and extreme Democrats.
And extreme Democrats, you're right. I don't see eye to eye with them, but I have no problem with having a discussion with them and figuring out what they believe in and what drives them, and finding the similarities that we may all have. I think people just need to talk more, and that's part of what I've tried to encourage with some of the guys that I know. That a buddy of mine, part of the guys chat, he lost his father pretty early, and when I was growing up, my dad was constantly gone. He was a traveling firefighter and couldn't be home quite often. I didn't have that guidance of questions of what was going on in my mind, or physical changes through puberty, and feelings for girls, and confusions around boys, and uncomfortable and about the male ego and hierarchy between groups, and I didn't know how to navigate that. I think that's really important for anybody growing up, is to have two parents. It doesn't have to be a male or female, or a normal nuclear family. They need different views of life and support, and many people don't have that, and I want to help create that. Even if you did have that as a family, you had both parents supporting everything, it may not be enough to get through the day-to-day stuff that we have to deal with. And many people don't feel comfortable talking to their family about things. Like, there are things that I'm not afraid to talk to my family, I just don't engage it, because they may not understand where I'm coming from. And my dad is one of them. He's a wonderful person, a hard worker, and I'm proud to have him as my dad, but there are things that he just may not be able to relate to.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons why when if somebody is inspired to do something that so many other people have already done. For example, somebody wants to create a restaurant. Some people I've heard say, well, I have this idea to create a restaurant, but I don't want to do it because there's so many restaurants out there.
Yeah.
And my response is always, yeah, but the way you do it is going to resonate with a whole group of people that the ones that are out there don't resonate with now. And so just like what you were saying, even though people have family in their life, a lot of us don't resonate with our family for various reasons. Not that I personally believe that there are, well, I don't need to get into that, but each one of us has a unique voice, and so just because we try to talk ourselves out of it doesn't mean that we should. Yeah, sure, I can talk myself out of anything, but is that really the best thing for the world?
And is that what I want when I've had these ideas, these goals, and why talk myself down from it? Like that saying, if you don't try, you're 100% of a failure. You're definitely not going to even try to pass if you don't even give it a shot. Like, at least give it a shot and fail. Don't not try and 100% fail. It's just not worth it. I've been afraid to do those things. I've held myself back a number of times. Still do occasionally, I would say, but I like to try to step out of that comfort zone and scare myself with trying something totally different. And I think the more I grow through this world, the more I just give it a shot. Just, who cares? Look like an idiot, look like a dork doing something, or hey, I'm going to try this, and you know what? It's not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for people who are not likely to go try and fight fires? That, because from what I know about you, you've got a bit of a daredevil streak, and so you're like, yeah, I like to scare myself, and I'm thinking, I see that.
Yeah.
I totally see that.
It's been in me since childhood. I was kind of a daredevil and did a lot of wild things. I grew up in a very small town and in a very rural neighborhood, in the sense of, like, our closest neighbors were a quarter mile away, and I had an entire hillside, a couple 100 acres of just BLM land to just wander around, and there were cougars up there and bears, and I just didn't care.
There are cougars here in town.
Yeah, coyotes. Yeah, there's some wild stuff.
I was talking about the women, but
oh yeah.
yeah. Moving on.
Not those kind of cougars I grew up. And I don't know, just liked being kind of wild. And again, with my dad not being around much, I kind of didn't have anybody to tell me that, this is kind of stupid what you're doing, but do it anyways, see what happens. And he and I finally hit a connection point when he accidentally set a fire in our back field. Long story short, alcohol was involved, and a little tiny fireworks that were not legal in this state.
No.
Created a little grass fire in our backyard, and he jumped right on it, and I just followed him. I had no idea what I was doing, but he guided me to what I should be doing, and we quickly put it out. Scared the crap out of my mom, and put it out, and it was right after. I was like, this is what you've been doing? He's like, yeah. It's like, this is fun. Like, I want to do this more. And I became a firefighter, and he and I worked together a number of times, if not over like one full fire season. And since then, he and I have been so close that we had this wild time together, death-defying situation, even though I've never felt fear around fire, especially with him. I've always felt safe with him in the woods, because I trust him and his experience with fighting fires, and I just went with it and became very comfortable around fires and loved my job, chasing wildfires and using prescribed fires in the off season or during a wildfire, to either slow it down or to corral it. And I've just had this random talent to know what fire is going to do and where it's going to roll, and that a lot of that comes to just because of his experience and teachings. Like, it didn't even dawn on me that other people don't understand this, because I just grew up with it. Like, when I'm watching terrain and I happen to catch a wildfire, I know where it's going to go. And with all that training and classes and experience, I feel comfortable getting in front of a fire or getting next to it to help slow it down. I did have to stop around 2010 and physically just destroy my body. So I miss it in many ways. That adrenaline junkie daredevil to dive in after something that's could cause a lot of damage as well as threaten people's lives. I just never had problems doing second guess. I just go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a helper and wanting to help people, and support, I think, is one of the best ways I can do that these days. Now that I'm getting older, I need to kind of slow down. I want to share my experiences as well as what I've picked up, because I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, with friends and choices where I was going to live, who I was living with, or people I dated, things I've said in front of people. Like, I accept all my mistakes and try to learn from them, and try not to have regrets, but part of that regrets helps teach you to be better.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've improved my life every year. It's just every time I kind of pass the sun one more time, I'm picking up more knowledge, and I want more people to do that, and I want to share that with people.
Yeah. Which brings us back to, so you're going to have this on Sundays in the afternoon, evening.
Yeah, I haven't set a set time.
But you'll announce it on your Instagram, I assume.
Yeah.
Right?
I want to get more of the guys, our group message, kind of get more involved, that they can actually be there physically, so it's not just me bringing other people. I want to help start growing and get their friends coming in, and just let it grow. And if it becomes something, that's awesome. If not, if I'm just helping affect a few people, then that's what matters.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you,
Is there
Sarah.
something that I should have asked you that I didn't before we end?
Nothing that I can really think of. It's been wonderful talking to you about this and getting more information out there. I'm not going to be advertising until this actually may become something, an actual weekly event, or let's say I can find a studio and create this. But I don't really want to make money off this. I just want to help young men, men my age, to find more of themselves and let things be. That accept your anger, accept who you are, accept your mistakes, and it's okay to be a white male. Don't be scared of it. There's a lot of negativity towards it, and I understand why, but we can still be allies, and we can still support our feminist values, our supporting women in general, supporting transgender, saving transgenders' kids, protecting everybody. And the more we accept who we are, I think the more we're going to accept everybody else, and help grow in a community. And I know that sounds very wishful thinking and kind of hippie mentality, but it's true. Like, why continue to make things harder, and people are getting angrier and more violent and judgmental? 'Cause it's just going to take us the wrong way. And now we are in the age of knowledge, of sharing. The internet has completely changed our world. So this is the time to connect and start understanding each other and opening up. Not the time to start judging and passive aggressively having fights on website, Facebook, social media. It doesn't do anybody good.
Yeah.
And sitting down, talking, having discussions, having arguments is healthy. And
Clearing the air, so to speak.
That's the only way that we're going to progress.
Letting the smoke go.
Yeah. And mushrooms is a huge thing in part of my life, and opening my spirit up and my mind, and clearing frustrations, clearing negative thoughts or negative issues in the world. I think everybody should do mushrooms at one point in their life. It really does open you up. It at least makes you step away from your circle of how you see everything. It opens up your mind, and I'm really fortunate that I live in a state that is legal, and not only legal but supportive. So it would be really great to be able to add that into the whole collective of being certified as I don't know what they're called.
Yoga.
Now.
The
mushroom,
psilocybin, the measure
mushroom
119.
caretakers.
109, yeah.
That would be one thing I would love to get involved with as well. There's so much history about mushrooms and psilocybin throughout human history that has helped. And there's even theories that why our brains developed so quickly in a certain amount of history period was because of mushrooms and cooking meat instead of eating it raw.
Yep.
And those could coincide. Like, hey, we took some mushrooms. You know what we should cook tomorrow? Like, instead of doing vegetables, instead of eating this thing raw, let's try firing it and throw some salt in there. Who knows? And, oh my gosh, everything grows. So I feel like we've hit this amazing point in human history that we are incredibly knowledgeable. We have complete global access and can talk to anybody around the world with complete ease instantly. Why not use it? We're not done developing. Yeah. Let's make our brains bigger. Let's invite more conversation and growth. There's no reason to stop us, and there's just the tensions in the world today. It just seems like we're going the opposite way.
Yeah, I see how that, I see that. I also am of the school that we're seeing it now because it's being burnt off. You know, the whole firefighter, we're seeing a lot of smoke right now because stuff that is ready to go is like saying, yeah, I'm ready to go, but it has to be seen before it can move on.
Fighting fires was a very large part of my life. It's a natural thing, and the native tribes used to use fire as a tool to help clear out fields, which would help manage wildfires. My dad is one of the leading teachers to bring back prescribed fires on tribal lands, and using their techniques and getting them trained in the sense of like the government has given the certification of they're good to go. But my dad is like, this is your technique. I've learned this from you folks. I'm just here to certify you, but you're the ones that know how to do this, and this is your land. Let's work together. Like, this is how we do it, in a safe way with modern technology, but let's use that again. And I think prescribed fires is one of the best ways that we can save a lot of our forests and lands. I think we should just keep going. And when there's a big wildfire, it destroys a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that the entire forest is dead. It's months later, years later, you get that regrowth, and planting trees is one of the easiest way. Doing fuel thinning and prescribed fires is one of the best way to keep a forest manageable as well as healthy. And just because something burns and dies doesn't mean it's over.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. People should watch your Instagram account, and you will be getting the word out soon.
I will. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Yeah. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Likewise.
And thank you all for listening to All Dreams Considered.
All Dreams Considered. All Dreams Considered. All Dreams Considered.